What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsyJr. YouTube. Come on into the room. Come on into the room because we have a reaction to the Celebration Bowl. Yes, I am here in Atlanta. As you see, I am not at home. This is not my studio. You see this Chanel stuff? This is my cousin's house. I am at my cousin's house because I came to Atlanta. I came to see the Celebration Bowl. I was in the building. If you follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter right there at JLightsy7, you saw I was tweeting throughout the game. I was there. I had a blast. I had a good time. It might have been now Jackson State, going to Jackson State itself was probably the best sporting experience I've ever had. But a live in-person game. But the game itself, I mean, Jackson State kind of ran away on Southern. And come on into the room. Yeah, what's going on, Slim Soldier? What's going on? Appreciate you waiting on me. I had to make some moves, get something to eat. I had my father with me. We went to the game. Let me go ahead and try to adjust this. Okay, here we go. There we go. Come on into the room. Let me know who you are, where you're from, who you represent, who you are, where you're from, who you represent. Because I got a lot to say about the Celebration Bowl. The Celebration Bowl was amazing. The Celebration Bowl lived up to the hype. North Carolina Central in the MEAC reigned supreme. Once again, the MEAC has now won 6 out of the 7 Celebration Bowls. The MEAC has shown their dominance. The MEAC has been able to go out there and boom, boom, boom on the SWAC teams 6 out of the 7 games. Come on into the room. Come on in. Let me see some of your thoughts. So here's what I think about it. Man, that game was awesome. What a game. What a game. Jackson State looked like they were about to lose the game 3 different times. It was so many things. I'm looking at your comments as they come in. So many things that went right for the JSU Tigers. So many things that went wrong for the JSU Tigers. And so many things that Coach Trei Oliver and those North Carolina Central Eagles did phenomenal. Masterclass that was put on by Trei Oliver of North Carolina Central. A straight up masterclass. The man had 4 weeks to prepare for that JSU defense, a defense that was number 1 in the country in points per game, a defense that was number 1 in the country in yards per game, a defense that was number 1 in the country or tops in the country in sacks over the season. And all North Carolina Central did, all they did was go out there and drop 41 points on them. All North Carolina Central did, all they did was go out there and make them look like a team who didn't deserve to be on the field with them. All North Carolina Central did was make it seem like they were the 16-point favorites, like they were the team that was supposed to be there, like they were the team that was going to drop the hammer, like they were the team who comes from a conference who has been dominating this game. And Jackson State, the words all year, the theme all season has been dominate and finish. Focus and finish. Focus and finish. Does it look like? Tell me. Talk to me. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Did that look like a team that was focused? That was a defense that was averaging 11 points per game. They only gave up 11 points per game, and they gave up 34 points in regulation and 41 points in the game. Coach Oliver, I mean, you talk about he was in his Duffy. He was in his Duffy as far as play calling. He was in his Duffy as far as scheme. He was in his Duffy as far as just everything. And how about that man, Davius Richards? Let's talk about Davius Richards. Davius Richards went out there and single-handedly, who's the best player on the field today? Who's the best player on the field today? He was the best player on the field. Now, don't get it twisted. There was another guy in white with number 12. Yeah, he's a monster too. Travis is a special kid. But Davius Richards, on a hand, his non-throwing hand, that it was taped up, that he had surgery on a few weeks ago, went out there and balled out. Davius Richards is a man. So, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about Coach Prime. Let's talk about Jackson State and some of the news that came out after the game. Have you guys seen the news? Have you guys seen the news? Have you guys seen the news? Kevin Coleman has announced that he is going to stay at Jackson State. Kevin Coleman has come out and said, we've got unfinished business, and he reposted his original commitment to Jackson State, almost like he's recommitting or he's staying in firm. He's going to go play for Coach TC, so that was awesome. So, first of all, I know you guys want to talk about the play. If you watch the game, you know what the play was. The play call, the perfect call, shout out to Brett Bartoloni, the offensive coordinator, JSU. The perfect play call. A play that they had ran against FAMU and worked to, it was a perfect play call against FAMU, and essentially they haven't run it the rest of the year. Shout out to Joe Owens. The play call was the leak out from the tight end, Hayden Hagler, and hit him for a wide open touchdown. Hayden dropped the ball. Hayden dropped the ball. Both figuratively and in reality. He dropped the ball, and you just felt the deflation in the stadium. When he dropped that pass, I was on the JSU. I wasn't on the sideline. I was in the stands. I was with the people. When he dropped that ball, the air went out of the building. When he dropped that ball, things just weren't the same. When he dropped that ball, it did not feel good. Now, here's a couple of things. If you don't know anything about me, I believe in the sports gods. It's just what I think. I believe that the sports gods giveth and they taketh away. So I just mentioned Kevin Coleman has come out and said that he's going to stay at Jackson State. Awesome. And I love that for Kevin. I love that for Coach TC Taylor. I love that for K3. I think he's going to be an amazing player. I think he'll step up and take wide receiver 1 role next year. I think he's that talented. And I think he'll be able to have a really good year if they're able to get the right signal caller in. Because as we know, Shedeur Sanders is moving on to go play with his dad at Colorado. But if Phillip Short can play, or if I don't think Coach TC is done recruiting quarterbacks. I think he'll go out and add another quarterback, maybe even 2, and they'll battle it out with Phillip Short. And hopefully, and I think Kevin Coleman will ascend to the wide receiver number 1 position next season. But when Kevin Coleman scored his first touchdown, when he scored that touchdown and they ran the pick play, and it was obviously a penalty. Like, that was such an obvious penalty. Bring back the segregation. Slim Soldier, bring back the segregation. That was hilarious. But it was obviously a pick play, an obvious pick. Like, not even a fake pick. It was an obvious pick. And they didn't call it. And Kevin scored 85 yards. I was like, the sports gods give it, the sports god take it away. Y'all got away with one. Hopefully the karma doesn't come back to get you. And boy, oh boy, did the karma come back in the form of Hayden Hagler dropping that pass in the end zone. Wide open to tie the game, or for their potential to tie the game. And then the very next play. What did y'all think about that last play? That last play of the game. Tell me your thoughts. I want to just read in the chat. I'm going to read in the chat and I want to see it in the comments. Tell me your thoughts on the last play of the game. Here's my thoughts on the last play of the game. Shedeur, what are you doing? You have to give your guys a chance to make a play. You can't throw the ball out of bounds. It's 4th and 1. The ball game is on the line. You have to give someone a chance. Now, I get it. Shedeur has been awesome his 2 years at Jackson State. Shedeur has been a staple. If they didn't know anything else at JSU since he's been there, they knew that they had a damn good quarterback. They had a really good quarterback for the last 2 years. Freshman of the year, Jerry Rice Award winners freshman year. This year, SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. This year, just 30 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, only less than 10 interceptions. But you throw the ball out of bounds on the last play? I get it. I listened to the post-game presser. He said, guys were messing up. I didn't want to take the penalty. I was rushing. Everything was going on. That's part of that is coaching. And we going to talk about the coaching because I see y'all been talking about the coaching. But you throw the ball out of bounds? Like, you throw the ball. You didn't give anyone a chance to catch the ball. Now, this is not me bashing on the kid. This is not, I want to make sure, but we can't act like, I know y'all were thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. How do you not give someone a chance to catch the ball? I'd rather you try to run and get it. I'd rather you just throw it up and it gets intercepted. At least I know it was in the vicinity of someone throwing it out of the back of the end zone, out of bounds. I was so disappointed. I was so sad. I was hurt for him. But I also was like, Shedeur is so smart. Shedeur is so talented. Shedeur is so gifted. How do you not give anyone a chance? He had a brain cramp. Yeah, he had a brain. But you having a brain cramp in the biggest moment of in the biggest game of your career for the national championship, like this is not having a brain cramp in the third game of the season and losing and having 12 more games to play or 10 more games to play. Just having a brain cramp and a mess up. I mean, it almost looked as if he thought he had another down. He threw the ball away I'm just watching it in real time, and I recorded the last play on my phone, and I actually posted it on my Twitter. My Twitter is at JeffLightsyJr. I was like, he made that play as if he thought he had another down. He threw it out of the end zone as if he thought he had another down, and that is on coaching. So let's talk about the coaching. This is the second year in a row a Deion Sanders-led team at Jackson State was heavily favorites going into the Celebration Bowl after winning a SWAC championship, and they got to the Celebration Bowl, and the MEAC team punched them in the mouth early and often. And when I say punched them in the mouth, I mean punched them in the mouth. Physically, in an analogy, and all the above. Davius Richards was a man-child. Cameron Stillman Craig, who will probably be following Prime to Colorado, ate turf. He got stiff-armed into the heavens. Davius Richards was running through arm tackles left and right. Guys that were making plays all year on that JSU defense that helped lead them to be number one in the country just simply weren't making those plays. And then the guys that were supposed to be there weren't there. Now, there's multiple, you can look at that in multiple ways. How those young men were selfish and they blah, blah, blah. We also have to remember that their coach is on the first flight to Colorado. He's flying back with the team, and I saw that he was emotional, and I hated that for him. I hated that for the players. You know, this was his last game coaching. We all knew that. But he's not spending a night in Jackson. This was his last, he's on a flight from Atlanta probably to Boulder. And so, obviously, some of the kids that were on this team just as recently as a week ago at the SWAC championship game, 2 weeks ago, said to hell with y'all. And I'm out. And I hate to say it like that, but that's what happened. If you listen to Aubrey Miller, if you haven't, go listen to Aubrey Miller in the post game. First of all, shout out to Aubrey Miller Jr. Aubrey Miller Jr., God bless you, young man, because you said some things during your post-game press conference that was amazing. It was beautiful to listen to. It was beautiful to watch. And you laid your heart out to the city of Jackson. You laid your heart out to Jackson State University, and you told every single recruit in the country, every single player in the country, come back home. Come back home. Come play for us. Look what it could be like if you come play for us. This could be you in this seat. I did it. The guys in that locker room did it. And the guys over in the North Carolina Central locker room did it. Come back home and play for us. Listening to him say that, man, I almost shed a tear. It was beautiful. I loved it. It was amazing. I was like, yo, that needs to be blasted. If you are a black high school head coach, a black junior college head coach, a black prep school head coach, assistant coach, offensive coordinator, D-line coach, parent, supporter, whatever, you need to run the last 30 seconds or so of Aubrey Miller's press conference after the Celebration Bowl. You need to go and run that. Run that and let the folks know, come back home. Come play for us. Because look at what we could do. Look at what we did here at JSU. Look at what we were able to do under Coach Prime when our guys came back home and played with us, for us. This was awesome, man. I hope you're sponsored by Coco Chanel. No, I am not sponsored by Coco Chanel. I am at my cousin's house. Shout out to my cousin, India Childs. She allowed me to use her space down here in Atlanta as I came to the game, and she's not even here. So I came and visited, and she was like, come check out, hang out. Cool. But back to the game. If you don't think that team was bothered by the distractions of everything that's going on with their head coach, you didn't watch the game. You didn't watch the game. Coach Prime has done amazing things at Jackson State. He's been awesome. But to see him fly back and forth from Boulder to Jackson, to see him wearing Colorado gear, then wearing Jackson gear, he said it was uncomfortable. But you got to deal with it. It looked like his team, had to deal with it, and they didn't respond well. Jackson State, that was the most disappointing performance by their defense I think they've had. They've had during the duration of the Coach Prime era. I did not expect to see that defense look like that. But listening to Aubrey in the post-game presser put more context on it. He said, guys didn't do their job. First of all, he took all ownership. He's like, we lost the game. Our offense did enough to win the game. You scored 34 points. If you scored 34 points all year, if Jackson State scored 34 points, I'm pretty sure during the Coach Prime era, if Jackson State's undefeated if they score 30 or more points. I'm pretty sure they're undefeated. And somebody can fact check me on that. But I'm pretty sure they're undefeated in the Coach Prime era if they score 30 or more points. They scored 34 points. And that defense allowed 41. I told you guys, I came on here during my pregame show, and I said, Bubba from Southern did some really good things in that SWAC championship game. And if Trei Oliver's the coach I think he is, which he proved that today, they're going to be able to do a lot of those similar things. And they're going to come out and look at that film from Bubba at Southern and look what he was able to do to that JSU defense, which was whole at the time, and go out and put up over 400 yards of total offense. And we'll be able to, we can recreate that because we have our own version of Bubba. He's just on he's just Bubba 10.0. He's way better than him. No offense to Bubba at Southern. He played a magnificent game in the SWAC championship game. But Davius Richards is a man child. Davius Richards is a man. He is the MEAC player of the year for a reason. His numbers are what they are for a reason. He's been able to go out there and dominate this season for a reason. And Bubba exploited a lot of those weaknesses in JSU's defense. And Davius Richards came out and said, I could do that. I can do that. And so you're talking, and he felt like he could do that on Jackson State as a complete team, like fully together. When you have guys out, you're telling me, now Gotti didn't play. You have guys transferring, leaving the team before the championship game. That's a bummer, man. That's a bummer when you're playing the best team you've played in 2 years. This is the best team Jackson State has played in 2 years. This team was better than last year's South Carolina State team. This team was better than the last year Louisiana Monroe team that they lost 12 to 6 or something. This team, this North Carolina Central team, is a hard-nosed, hard-running, smash-mouth football team. And that's what they were able to do today against Jackson State. They hit Jackson State in the mouth, and they kept hitting them, and they kept hitting them. Now, Jackson State was firing back, though. Shedeur, Travis were firing back. But that JSU defense just couldn't do anything with Davius Richards in that North Carolina Central offense. Can we talk about Travis for a minute? Let's talk about Travis for a minute. Yeah, the COVID season. I almost don't count the COVID season. Somebody brought up the COVID season. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. Now Gotti was suspended. That's awful. I hate that for him. And potentially his last name. Let's talk about Travis for a minute. Travis is special. He's special. Honestly, if I'm advising Travis don't listen to me. I don't know Travis. He don't know me. He should play wide receiver full time. How he plays defensive back and starts DB and plays wide receiver sometimes, he should flop that. The game has changed. Wide receivers are more valuable than corners. Wide receivers make more money than corners. Wide receivers mean more to an NFL team now than corners. And because of the mobile quarterback in college football and in the NFL, corners, there's no more shut down, lockdown corners because all the quarterbacks can run. Travis needs to play wide receiver full time. Did y'all see the route on the first touchdown? The first touchdown. The route, tell me y'all seen the route. The man is a true freshman and runs routes like Justin Jefferson. The man is a true freshman and runs routes like Devontae Adams. The man is a true freshman. He's 18, 19 years old and runs route like a 10-year veteran in the league. He's special. Oh, he is special. And I just want to say this because I'm not going to talk about the Colorado stuff a whole lot. But because Travis is so special is why this hurts even more for Jackson State fans. Because Travis is going to be an NFL player. He's that good. If Travis could declare for the draft right now, he'd go in the first round. If Travis was eligible for the NFL draft right now, he would go in the first round, period, as either a corner or a wide receiver. Here's the thing. With him now leaving, where I'm assuming he's leaving. This is me assuming. I don't know anything. But with me assuming, and Deion Sanders, Coach Prime has said as much, that Travis is pretty much going with him to Colorado. With him leaving and going to Colorado, when he gets drafted, because he's going to get drafted to the NFL, he won't get drafted as an HBCU player. He will be drafted in 2 years as a Colorado Buffalo. And that sucks. Somebody said, slow down. No, I don't need to slow down. My eyes don't lie. The tape doesn't lie. If Travis could declare for the name, who in college football is a better receiver than Travis Hunter? Besides Marvin Harrison Jr. If Travis Hunter could go out as a wide receiver full time, I'd say Marvin Harrison Jr. is better than him in college football. And then I'd put him up there with anybody else. After Marvin Harrison Jr., I'd put Travis up there with anyone else. Jalen Hyatt, who just won the Blitnikoff. Jordan Addison, who won the Blitnikoff last year. He's that special. He's that twitchy. He is a fluid, twitchy athlete that's insane. It's insane. And so back to the Colorado thing. That's why this hurts. That's why this game was so bittersweet. That's why this game sucks so much. Not just for the fact that they lost, but for the fact that when Travis gets drafted in the first round of the 25 NFL draft, he's going to be Travis Hunter, Colorado Buffalo. You know when they do the Sunday Night Football on NBC and they look at Travis Hunter and he's starting for the Detroit Lions or whatever, he's going to say Travis Hunter, Buffalo, Colorado Buffaloes. And instead, he should be saying Travis Hunter, Jackson State Tigers. Travis Hunter, JSU Tigers. Same with Shedeur. The same with Shedeur. Now, Shedeur, I don't know if he'll go first round. Shedur's a pro, though. He's going to get drafted. But when Shedeur Sanders gets drafted, and if he goes on, no matter what kind of career he has, but especially if he has a Hall of Fame career, it'll be Shedeur Sanders, Hall of Fame member, Colorado Buffaloes, or Travis Hunter. The Colorado Buffalo has X amount of Hall of Famers, and one of them being Travis Hunter. Or X amount of guys that made a Pro Bowl, and one of them's Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. That sucks. I mean, that just sucks, man. Because I seen what these guys did with Jackson State across their chest. I seen it. I only saw it a little bit from Travis because he missed 5 or 6 games with an injury. And I seen it for 2 years with Shedeur, and that sucks. That sucks, man. Them guys, oh my God, what I would want to do, what I would pay to see them finish their college careers at Jackson State. That's why I'm so happy about the Kevin Coleman news. That's why the Kevin Coleman news is so massive. Because Kevin Coleman, when he gets drafted, or if he's able to get drafted, and he's on Sunday Night Football for NBC, Kevin Coleman, Jackson State. When his name goes across the screen on ESPN on draft day, it's going to say Kevin Coleman and it's going to say Jackson State. It's not going to say Kevin Coleman, Colorado. And Aubrey Miller, the same. Aubrey Miller, Jackson State. James Houston, Jackson State. Man, what could have been? Coach Prime, the JSU Tigers lose the Celebration Bowl for the second time. If you're a JSU fan, we got a few hundred people in here, man. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. If you're a JSU fan, which one hurt worse? Just did last year's Celebration Bowl hurt worse because you were there, you were the clear, obvious favorites. It was Coach Prime's first full season as Jackson State, and you kind of get beat up on, especially in the second half by South Carolina State? Or did this one hurt because you were this close to winning? And the thing that you've been able to rely on the most this entire tenure was Dennis Thurman and that defense. And there were so many missed tackles. I don't know if that was a fatigue thing. I don't know if North Carolina Central was just that much tougher than you. I don't know what it is. North Carolina Central made Jackson State defenders look like they were standing still. They looked like it was so many arm tackles, so many guys they were picking on. I'm not going to call them out. This one hurt, man. I was in the building. It was lit. The only disappointing thing from this whole entire game is that I felt like more North Carolina Central fans should have been here. I don't know if they didn't believe that they was going to win or that they had a legit chance or what, but they should have had more fans in the stands. They should have had more people here in Atlanta because they have one heck of a football team led by one heck of a coach in Trei Oliver, who put on a masterclass. The trick plays, the formations, the play designs, the play calls, the timely things, doing things timely, 2-point conversion, everything. He was in his Duffy. He was in his Duffy. And Trei Oliver said before the game, he said, man, you know, here in North Carolina Central, we don't do a lot of glitz. We don't do a lot of glamour. We just play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't use these words, but this is what I heard. He said, we just play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football. I'm not big on social media. I don't do a lot of social media stuff. I don't really need to. My team understands the job. They understand that we have a job. We have a responsibility, and we go out there and play ball. One thing that's still so funny to me is that Oliver still remembers the HBCU game day poll that didn't have North Carolina Central in the top 10 preseason. HBCU game day came out with the top 10 players. Top 10 teams in HBCU football, and they didn't have North Carolina Central in the top 10. And so when Oliver got to Atlanta, or after they won the MEAC, he saw one of the guys from HBCU game day. And he said, y'all ain't have us in the top 10. And that was funny. Then as he's accepting the Celebration Bowl championship trophy, he said, I told y'all back in August, there weren't 10 teams in the country better than us. I tip my hat to you, sir. Job well done. Job well done. Because what a performance you put on, your staff put on, your team put on, and especially your quarterback put on. Y'all put on a performance for the ages. See, the thing that we loved about Deion Sanders, that I loved about Deion Sanders, and I'm going to do an ode to Coach Prime in a separate video because I do owe him a lot. I'm going to give him his flowers. And a lot of y'all be like, oh, you be hating on Coach Prime. I never hated on Coach Prime. I just told you how I felt. You know what I'm saying? If I said I felt like I was disappointed in some of the things he did, you know, in his exit to Jackson State, I can say what I want. This is my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is my channel. You can not like it, but I just say what I want. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't know. What that defense, I just didn't expect them to go out like that. Aubrey put it best, though. He said we had guys that we expected to be here, that's been here all year for us, that have been able to make plays all year for us. And even if they weren't a starter, they relieved someone, and we were able to swap in and out guys. And those guys are gone, And the guys we had didn't do their job. Shedeur Sanders did his job. Kevin Coleman did his job. Travis Hunter did a hell of a job. He damn sure did his job. I mean, he did a couple of jobs. He did his job and maybe his job too. He did about 2 or 3 people's job. But we didn't do ours. And that's what stinks. I'm going to be honest to you. When Travis caught his last touchdown, the fade, first of all, wow. Wow. And second of all, because Jackson State wasn't stopping North Carolina Central, I thought they were going to go for 2. I honestly thought they were going to go for 2 points because they couldn't stop them. You can't stop it. Davius Richards is proven for 4-3 for the entire game. You don't have an answer for the man. And I get it. You've had answers for everyone all year long. But you didn't have an answer for him. And so in my mind, I was like, yo, Travis just made a hell of a play. Go for it all. Go for the win. Go for it. Just say, hey, we can't stop the brother. He's a man child. He's a beast. Like Aubrey said, we are without guys. They're supposed to be there. They just aren't here for whatever reason. You know, there are reasons there, but they aren't here. But we need to try to win this game because we can't stop. Because that dude at quarterback on the other team, we can't stop him. Point blank period. We can't. They can't stop us. We scored 34 points too. Or at that moment, 33 points. But we can't stop him. We have no answers for him. We haven't had any answers all game. And so I thought they were going to go for 2. I honestly did. I thought they were going to call up. They just scored with Travis. I thought they was going to call up another play for Travis. They didn't. They went for 1. And they got all the way down to the 1-yard line. And the young man dropped the pass. And that was unfortunate. And they lost the game. So the Celebration Bowl, first of all, the experience was amazing. As always, you all, meaning, you know, my family online and the people that I meet in person from doing this stuff. Y'all always are so nice, so kind, so loving, so helpful, so energetic, so cool to just talk to. Y'all always tell me I'm a lot shorter. Y'all never know that I'm not a very tall man. I mean, if you met me, I'm not a very tall man, so that's always funny. But it was an amazing experience. It was one of the best games, probably the best game that I've attended in person, maybe ever. As far as football, now Jackson State, the atmosphere was the best. That's the best atmosphere. That was even better than this one. And this atmosphere was really good. But Jackson State atmosphere was the best I ever. I mean, just it's the best sporting event I've ever been to. But this game, the game itself, the highs were super high. And there was some lows. Oh, my God. When Hayden dropped the ball, it was like you could have heard the like just the. But when Travis caught the touchdown, the high fives and the yelling and the screaming, this was awesome. This was awesome. I want to talk about. Let's talk about Coach Prime's coaching. I'm curious. I want to just hear. Do you all feel like the big moments has he been able to deliver the big moments to you as a coach? As a coach, do you feel like Prime and his staff at Jackson State were able to deliver in the big moments? Because against the SWAC, they never lost a game in the last 2 years. There were some close games. They never lost one. And that is impressive. But against the MEAC, he's 0-2. Take that for whatever you want. But he's 0-2. That means something. We can't just ignore that. We can't just act like that doesn't exist. With a team that on paper has more talent than the other team. With a team that on paper has way more star ratings, gets ranked on 24/7, gets all the press coverage from me and major media and all of that stuff. Against a team with a bunch of guys with little to no stars. Both South Carolina State last year and North Carolina Central this year. Came up short. He came up short. And that was interesting. Someone said Prime got the coaches and not. So I think that's interesting. It's not me. I don't know. Do I think he can? I think Coach Prime's a good coach. I honestly think Coach Prime's a really good coach. Situationally, there's times I think they fall in love with Shedeur too much, but I've been said that. I think they fall in love with trying to make Shedeur make plays. I've always said that. Sometimes I think they need to stick to the run a little bit more. But these 2 losses in the Celebration Bowl, that means something. Like those 2 teams, South Carolina State last year and North Carolina Central this year, these wins against a Deion Sanders-led Jackson State team during the renaissance of HBCU football probably will be the highlight of their football career for the rest of their lives. I'm just being honest. I am just being honest. And this is what some of these guys are. Some of these guys are gonna make it to the NFL. Some of these guys are gonna play professional football, whether it's in the NFL, XFL, CFL, USFL. Beating a Deion Sanders-led HBCU football team in the HBCU National Championship game will probably be the highlight of their football careers, period. Period. Like this is something they're going to tell their great grandchildren. This is stuff that is going to be etched in the history books. You can't tell the story of Black college football without telling the story of Deion Sanders. And when you tell the story of Deion Sanders' experience at Black college football, you have to talk about the fact that he went 0-2 in the Black college football national championship game. It's interesting. It's just something to think about. Just something to think about. Man, what a season. I talk about Jackson State on this channel, so let's just keep it a being. What a season they had, man. This has been one heck of a ride. And I hate for them that it ended this way. But boy, oh boy, what a heck of a ride it's been for North Carolina Central as well. For Jackson State, over the last 2 years, I mean, people can say what they want about, the exit, right? But Deion Sanders' time at Jackson State was amazing. It was awesome. It was so fun. So many people made so much money. He helped put money in people's pockets. He helped grow people's channels. He helped people who don't play football. He helped make media stars. Like there's people in the media space that have become stars because of Deion Sanders at Jackson State. And that's awesome. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole separate thing about Coach Prime. And I'm going to do an ode. Give him his flowers because he helped my channel grow exponentially. And I'd be lying if I said my channel, I always thought my channel would be something, right? Like I always knew it wasn't nothing for a long time. And I always knew it would be something. But Coach Prime expedited that process for me. I was known a little bit in some other spaces, but he was able to open my eyes to something that I probably should have loved for my entire life. And that is because I love Black people. If you know anything about me, I'm all pro-Black, B1, FBA, all of that stuff. And you marry that, which is the HBCU experience, with football. So Black people, Black culture with football, it's a match made in heaven for someone like me. And that I can't say thank you enough to him for allowing me to be a part of this experience. Celebration Bowl 2022. So this is celebrates. How will you put in the chat and put in the comments? How will you remember the Celebration Bowl for 2022? The 2022 Celebration Bowl. How will you remember that? Let me know. How will you remember the 2022 Celebration Bowl? How I will remember it. It will be. I think we're seeing a rising coaching star at North Carolina Central. I think Trei Oliver is a superstar in the making. A superstar in the making as far as a coach. I think he's that gifted. I think he's that talented. I think he is that great. I think you're literally watching a superstar in the making in Trei Oliver. I really do. I think he's that great. I think on Jackson State side, I think that I'm looking at the chat, looking at some of the things. Exciting game. I mean, that game was so exciting. It might be like, let me know. Do you think that was one of the best HBCU football games ever? Is it fair to say that that was one of the best HBCU football games ever? I think it might be fair to say that. Now, I'm not yet. I would like to be at one point, and I'm not Dr. Cavill. I'm not an HBCU football historian that just knows everything. But I'm willing to put that game up with a lot of games. Now, y'all know more about it than me, but I'm willing to put that game up with a whole lot of games that have happened throughout the history of HBCU football. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. We got a lot of people in here. Hit that thumbs up button. It is going to be a very, very interesting next month for Jackson State football. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how Coach TC Taylor fills out his staff. I'm interested to see who joins his staff. I'm interested to see how he closes this recruiting cycle. I'm interested to see how he is able to recruit his own team. Who is going to stay at JSU? Who is going to go to Colorado? And who is just going to leave Jackson and HBCU football altogether? I'm interested to see how all of that plays out. I think, now tell me, this is just a crazy idea, but I think possibly losing this game, could it help Jackson State out a little bit, Coach TC? Hear me out. I think there are going to be players on that team that may or may not have considered leaving Jackson State if they won the Celebration Bowl, that want to come back and play for Coach TC Taylor, the Jackson State Tigers, and win a Celebration Bowl. That's not to say it's going to happen, because we thought it was going to happen this year, it didn't. But guys like Kevin Coleman possibly, and whoever else who may have considered leaving Jackson State for Colorado, who may have considered leaving Jackson State for another opportunity, who may have considered leaving Jackson State to go do whatever, will come back to JSU to try to win that celebration, at elusive Celebration Bowl. Now, don't get it twisted. Them boys over in the MEAC, they're going to have a lot to say about who wins next year's Celebration Bowl. But I think there are going to be guys who may have entered that portal, jumped in that portal, and left Jackson State for other opportunities that will come back and play for JSU to try to get that elusive Celebration Bowl title that has been eluding them over the last 2 years. JSU will go 8-4 next year. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's my thoughts on that. This Celebration Bowl, I hate that they lost, man. I'm sick JSU lost, bro. I'd be lying to you if I said I'm happy that they lost. I am sick that they lost. I am. I wanted to see Nugget with a ring. I wanted to see Travis with a ring, Shiloh, Shador, Coach Prime. I wanted to see Coach Prime since he was going out. I'm not happy that he's leaving, but since he was going out, I wanted to see him go out on top. He's meant that much to me. He's meant that much to HBCUs, those 4 letters. He's meant that much to Jackson and Jackson State. Wanted to see him go out. But Trei Oliver and those Eagles had other plans. Trei Oliver and those North Carolina Central Eagles had other plans, and I ain't mad at them. How can you be mad at? You gotta tip your hat when you see a good man, shake his hand and say good job, because them young men and they head coach and that coaching staff came ready to play. They did, and for the 2nd year in a row, and for the 5th time out of the last 6 in the 6-year history of the Celebration Bowl, a team from the MEAC Conference goes home Celebration Bowl trophy. Now, I mean, since we're just talking about the game, and we've talked about this, and now with JSU losing 2 years in a row, now I'm curious as to how some of you guys feel about this. Those 4 weeks, there don't seem to be no rust coming back from them 4 weeks. When you get 4, 5, 6, however long the MEAC gets before the Celebration Bowl, when you get over a month to prepare for one team, seems to work out pretty good in your favor. I'm just saying. And that's no knock to Trei Oliver and the North Carolina Central Eagles. They did their job. They went out there and balled. But them 4 weeks seem to be helping them out. The MEAC schools out a whole lot. It seemed to be helping them out a whole lot. I mean, to come out and drop 41 points on a JSU defense that had only been giving up 11 points per game. I seen one interview, Wilton, shout out to Wilton. Wilton posted on I think it's at Wilton Reports. Wilton posted a video of a MEAC guy, a player on North Carolina Central's team. It was like, the MEAC is the real HBCU conference. The MEAC is the real guy. The MEAC is where you come play real football. And all you can do is say, they 5-1 in the Celebration Bowl against the SWAC. They're leading both the Celebration Bowl and the MEAC SWAC Challenge. There's only been one SWAC team to win the Celebration Bowl, and that was Grambling. And Grambling, of course, the Graham fam came out. We still the only SWAC team to win a Celebration Bowl. Thanks, but no thanks, Coach Prime. See you later. Have fun in Colorado. But we the only SWAC team, and Hugh that, and GSU. Shout out to my Graham fam. You know I love y'all. The MEAC owns the SWAC. They do. Kind of do. And we laugh. I mean, a lot of us on social media and online laugh about the MEAC losing teams. They lost A&T. They lost Bethune and FAMU to the SWAC. They lost Hampton. Howard flirted with CAA, and they almost lost Howard. We laugh and we're like, oh, man, y'all need to add more teams. Y'all need to expand. Y'all need to do this and do that, and blah, 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 blah. And how they do. When they get on the grand stage, you see the put up or shut up. And they put up a lot of stuff, a lot of great things. Man, dog, this sucks doing this after JSU lost, man. I thought I was about to be coming over here talking about a dub over the MEAC school. And instead, I'm over here salty, sick. That's how Coach Prime went out. Man, oh man, Jackson State, 41-34 win for the MEAC champions, North Carolina Central, and now they are the Celebration Bowl champions. And for the second year in a row, Coach Prime's team dominates SWAC performance, goes undefeated in the SWAC, goes undefeated all year, gets to the Celebration Bowl. And the master classes kind of ran on his team. Coach Trei Oliver and his staff in North Carolina Central, they outcoached Coach Prime and his staff at Jackson State. Davius Richards and his offense outperformed Shedeur Sanders and the Jackson State offense. The Jackson State defense couldn't get stops, couldn't stop Davius Richards. I mean, North Carolina Central defense didn't really stop Shedeur and them neither, but they stopped them enough. So at the end of the day, the scoreboard read 41 North Carolina Central, 34 Jackson State. Man, this is going to take a lot of time to digest because there's going to be so many moving parts for Jackson State over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So many moving parts about the guys leaving for Colorado, about guys hitting the portal and going somewhere else, about guys who are going to be staying, about the coaching staff who's going to be departing to go to Colorado, coaching staff members who are going to be onboarded and brought on to the JSU staff from different places. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch Jackson State. I'm going to be watching. Y'all know me. And stay tuned to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and to follow along to all the moving pieces that are going to be taking place for JSU. I'm curious. Now, this is just this is me asking a question. Y'all know I like asking y'all questions. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the chat. How do you feel about Hayden Hagler's drop? Do you not like the young man right now? Are you disappointed? How long is it going to take? I posted this on my Twitter, by the way. How long is it going to, JSU fans, I'm talking to y'all. How long is it going to take for you to get over the Hayden Hagler drop? I had some folks on my Twitter say, I'll never get over it. I had some folks say, I'm already over it. I had some folks say, it's going to take a very, very long time. I had a wide range of answers of how they felt about the Hayden Hagler drop. I would never rip a young man. I'll never come on here and rip someone. I mean, these young men are in college. I've been in college. I never had the skill to do what they do, so I'm not gonna come on here and just rip them. I'm not Skip Bayless. I'm not gonna Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, any young man ever that plays a sport either at the collegiate. I wouldn't even do it if they played at the Pee Wee level. I would never Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp nobody. You ain't gonna never see me go. I'm gonna be like, I'm disappointed sometimes, or you should have been able to make more plays, or blah blah blah. I'm never gonna come in here and rip you a new, you know what. But y'all know he's gotta be sick. Y'all know he's got to be sick. I'm competitive. I played sports. I've never made I probably never made a fraction of the plays he's made during his sporting career. But I also ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine what it's like to have a play, because think about it, to have a play like that in that stage for that team. And what I mean by that, shit. Let's just call it a spade a spade. Hayden Haggler's white. He plays in an HBCU, and in an HBCU national championship game, the numbers aren't out, but it'll probably be close to, if not top 3 million people watching, with another 50,000 in the stands, dropped a touchdown that essentially some people will frame it as cost Deion Sanders a national championship. Just call it what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Why are people upset? Deion Sanders in Jackson State, not necessarily Deion Sanders specifically, as the head coach of Jackson State, has a whole lot of fans around the world. And Hayden Haggler, the young white man on the HBCU, drops the touchdown that cost Deion Sanders a national championship, potentially. Now, they would have had to kick the extra point or go for two. And, they wasn't stopping Davius Richards. I mean, that was proven. But that's a lot. That's a lot on him right now. And so I'm praying for the young man, because that is a whole lot. That is a whole lot on a game of that magnitude. Deion Sanders' last game as the head coach of Jackson State, and he dropped that pass wide open, 1 yard line, on a play that he had made early in the season against FAMU. He made the same play. He just caught it. It's a lot for a young man. So I'm praying for him. I hope he's okay. And I'm gonna do a few more minutes and then I'm gonna get out of here, because I'm gonna go tap in with the HBCU Nightly. I was summoned to HBCU Nightly, so I gotta go tap in with that. I just hope every JSU fan and every HBCU fan really soaked all of this in, the Deion Sanders experience. That's not to say that you guys are ever going anywhere, because I know you guys. I met a lot of you all when I was in Jackson State. Y'all here to stay. Y'all was here before Prime. Y'all gonna be here way after him. But this moment in time, this HBCU football renaissance moment, it was one thing that was beautiful. It was beautiful to see. It's been beautiful to see, and I know that it's going to continue to progress. Yes, nobody will ever be Deion Sanders. I get it. We all know that. But this is something that I think that can become a machine that's self-sustaining. And because of you all being in spaces like this one with me, is what's going to help this thing continue to grow. I heard Shador shout out YouTubers. He literally used the word YouTubers in media are helping this thing grow. And I love that, because I took that as a pat on the back. I was like, shout out to us, man. That's on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And so I really, really, really am super interested to see Coach TC Taylor lead this JSU team moving forward. I'm interested to see Coach Trei Oliver continue to grow and develop and dominate over there at that North Carolina Central team. I'm interested to see how the other SWAC schools, the Gramblins, the FAMU, the Southerns, the Prairie Views, the Texas Southerns, et cetera, how they're able to respond now that they feel like there's blood in the water. They feel like, you know what I'm saying? They feel like it's blood in the water, and JSU isn't the team that they don't think the 2023 version of JSU will be as good or as dominant as the 2022 version and the 2021 version. They think that this is their shot, 2023 and moving forward. And I'm interested to see how Jackson State responds. How are they going to be able to respond? Who are you going to be that QB? Who's going to be that QB1? Someone keeps asking about Shiloh. I'm not sure what you want me to say about Shiloh. He didn't have his best game. They took advantage of Shiloh in coverage. Davius Richards targeted Shiloh. They picked on Shiloh. I don't know if you wanted me to say that. He didn't have his best game. But one thing I can say about Shiloh is that he loves him some JSU. And even though his dad has already said he's taking him to Colorado, boy, oh boy, would I love to see Shiloh in a JSU jersey in 2023. I would love to see Shiloh Sanders in a Jackson State jersey in 2023. So that is what it is. Once again, my name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsyJr. YouTube. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys. We got a lot more to talk about. Like I said, I'm going to do an ode to Coach Prime probably when I get back home from Atlanta some point tomorrow. We'll do another live or another video, whatever, an ode, a thank you to Coach Deion Sanders as he moves on and transitions to Colorado, because he really, really helped me a whole lot, whether he knows it or not. He doesn't know me, but he did help me a lot. And I think by helping me, he helped you all. And so I am excited about doing that. And I'm excited. I am super excited. That Kevin Coleman news really got me pumped. I'm super excited to see what Coach T.C. Taylor is able to do with Jackson State in 2023. I think it's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be a really good coach. I could be wrong, but I really do want to believe it. Thank you guys so much. Once again, my name is JeffLightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show. Hit that thumbs up button. Shout out to the good brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha that I saw over there at the Celebration Bowl. The Greeks was deep at the Celebration Bowl. But thank you guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. I'll see you next time. Peace.